maybe some more members will join us. You're on mute, Linda. Are we all set?
Sorry, yes, we are live now.
Okay, we are live. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Senator Jim Dill, the chair of IFW committee, and I want to welcome everybody here that's listening and participating this morning. The first thing we'll do is go around and do introductions, and I'll start with Representative Neto.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Netto, and I represent the town of Winslow and a small portion of Benton.
Thank you. Representative Terrio.
Good morning. I'm Representative Tim Terrio from District 79, representing Albion, most of Benton, China, and Unity Plantation.
Thank you. Representative Martin.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, folks. Danny Martin, House 150, located in northern Worcester County, where it's cold this morning.
Not as cold as yesterday, I bet, though.
Still about -5 right now.
Oh, okay. Senator Black.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Black, Senate District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec, Belgrade, Mount Vernon, Vienna, and Fayette.
Thank you. Representative Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Representative Rick Mason. I represent the good folks of Lisbon, District 56.
Thank you. Representative Ordway.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Lester Ordway. I represent District 23, which is part of the town of Standish.
Thank you. And House Chair Landry.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Landry. I represent the folks of Farmington, New Sharon, and District 113. Thank you.
Thank you. This morning, I'm sure people, other committee members will be in and out joining us. Some people have more than one committee they're on. Some people have bills to present. So as I say, you'll notice that we'll come in and out. Our goals for today are we have, I believe, 8 issues that we had presentations on Monday. And today we're going to have a discussion on each one as how to proceed. We won't be voting on any issues or anything like that today. Our goal today is just to look at each issue and say, what are we going to do with it? It may be that we're going to go right into a work session or schedule a work session for it. We won't be doing work sessions today, but we'll schedule work sessions on some of the carryover bills, perhaps. Some of the resolves, we may say that we want to report out a bill. So we will schedule one of our meetings to discuss what the bill is going to look like and report that out so that it can be referred back to us for public hearing. So that's kind of the goals for the day. And as I say, we have about 8 different topics to discuss. And with that, what I'll do is I think I'll start and go to Julia. And she can kind of summarize a little bit on what the discussion was on Monday or the presentation and what our options hopefully are for each of the issues that we're dealing with. And she and I had not discussed this issue, so she may be taken by surprise at the moment, but I don't know. She's nodding her head no, so she was probably anticipating that's what it was. The first thing that's on our agenda, and I'm just going to go down the way they're listed, and that is airboat operation, which was one we had last year that we had asked that some time be given to work on this. We also have a new bill, as it states on our schedule, LD 1873 on airboat operation that does actually give us a means of moving forward if that's what we decide to do. So with that, Julia.
Good morning, committee. So I'm having background noise. Is anyone else having that issue?
Nope.
No? Okay. So for airboats, we heard from the department that there is 6 recommendations, although the report isn't final, that are all related to noise suppression. And as Chair Dill pointed out, we have 1873, which provides a vehicle for any of the changes that the committee decides that they'd like to substantively make today.
Okay, so then I think what our options probably are on this bill, I assume that the committee feels that we'll be moving forward with it. And if we just wait and schedule a public hearing for 1873, at that time, we can work the recommendations that came to us from the department at that time. That's probably, there's certainly one possibility. We could have more discussion if people so desire on the 6 areas that were presented to us, or suggestions that were presented to us as possible fixes. But if we're going to hear 1873 later, we may as well, I think, just roll it all into one. But I would open it up to the committee for discussion on this. Thoughts? Yes, Representative Hepler, and introduce yourself too, please.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. My name's Allison Hepler. I represent the towns of the lower Kennebec River. And the question I had is, are we getting a report that sort of details what the results of the stakeholder group? That would be really helpful. I was told there was something in progress.
Julia.
That report is going to be coming in on the 15th.
So some point after that is when we would want to, schedule whatever we're going to do with this. So we'll have the report. That was kind of what we had the presentation on Monday. So, yep. Other thoughts?
I think we need to just combine it and get it done with one swoop. I mean, I'm not interested in beating this over, over and over, so.
Right. So then when we have 1873 scheduled for a public hearing, we'll just roll all of this into that one public hearing and have a work session. Is that what we want to proceed with this particular one?
Yep.
I see everybody nodding. I don't know that we actually have to have a vote on it unless I see some no nods. Okay, then that's the first one. So when we can get a chance with, we'll schedule 1873. The next one is watercraft operation, chapter 45. Julia.
For chapter 45, we won't have the full information until about March 15th at this time, but the committee does have authority to report out a bill on the issue.
Okay, so March 15th is pretty late for a lot to happen if we wait for the report. Thoughts on what to do with this one? This is the one that, correct me if I'm wrong, Julia, it was like the Kai's Pond issue and things like that, the size of the boat, engines, and the Great Ponds Act and all those type of things.
That's correct.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Senator Dill. I just wanted to indicate that we could have that report sooner than March, and probably within 2 weeks.
Okay.
That helps.
Oh, all right. That's good. So on this one, though, we do have where it was resolved and the department's working on, we can report out a bill or move a bill forward. I don't know what information we have that we would want to put in it. And I would go back to Julia. Can we just kind of do it as a concept draft and say that we're going to do it on watercraft operation, put a title to it, and move it forward so that I think if I remember correctly, that even though we said we're going to report out a bill, it has to be referred back to us. Is that correct from the presiding officers, or us on the 26th if we're in, if that's the way it goes. Is that correct, Julia?
Yes, well, there are, and I sent this, it's a little bit complicated, so I did send a summary of this in the email, but there are two ways to report out a committee bill. And one is to have that referred back, and the other is to request permission from the POs and have a hearing on the LR.
Okay. So what do you want to do on this one, folks? I mean, we got to do something with it. I guess I would suggest that we go ahead and put a bill together and just have it referred back to us. But I guess my question to Julia is, how much do we have to have in it? Is it more like a concept draft of, you know, watercraft operations on ponds and that type of thing? And once we have the report back from the commissioner and the departments, that'll give us a little bit more meat to put into the bill, as well as, of course, we can do it during the public hearing / work sessions. But I don't know how much, as we are reporting out our own bill, how much we have to have in it initially. Can you guide us a little bit there?
Yes, well, if I am, with your permission, I would be happy to work with the department on what on the language and what would go into that bill, and then be able to provide that for scheduling a hearing.
Yep, that sounds like probably a plan. Yep, I see nods, thumbs up. Yes, so let's go ahead and do that with this one. And we'll therefore get a bill reported out at some point with some information in it. Anything else on that one before we move on? Next is boat racing and wildlife, which is actually a carried over bill. We had information presented to us also the other day. I have received some emails on this with still concerns about racing and loons, and that folks are still concerned that even though the department will or can regulate boat racing where the loons are, and that it appears that most of the loon kills have been through recreational boating. There's still concern from people that's trying to protect loons and other wildlife, that this doesn't go far enough, because it's just looking at it from sheer numbers. And I think, if I remember vaguely what the commissioner or whoever reported on it said, there's like 7 boat races or something like that, motorboat races, and there really haven't been any loon kills, possibly one, but they weren't sure. And therefore the other ones are done by recreational boaters. And the folks that were raising the issue saying, well, this may be true, but look at the sheer numbers of boat racing and concentration and when it's going on versus the number of recreational boaters. It would make certainly some sense to them that there are more loon kills, if we stick with loons, from recreational boaters, but they're still concerned that the nesting areas and this type of thing on these ponds where the boat races are held are going to be detrimental to the loon population. So I just wanted to put that out there. We have some questions. I saw Representative Terrio first, so Representative Terrio.
And I appreciate all of the concerns, but with no evidence, zero evidence of this having any impact, why would we want to make something up? Because that's what you're doing. You're making something up that just doesn't exist, and I won't support that.
Okay. Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with Representative Terrio. I'm not sure that there's a need for this legislation, and if in fact it moves forward, I probably would be voting against it.
Okay. And Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What I liked about the rules, if I can remember, I wrote down some notes on this, is that there was an attempt to make it consistent with other sorts of protections for loons and other wildlife. I also frankly like the idea that if there's a permission that has to be granted by IFW, that there ought to be a way to deny permission. In other words, it shouldn't just be an automatic pass through. And that's what I found appealing about this. And I understand that the numbers are very low.
Representative Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have to agree with Representative Terrio and Representative Martin. I just think the boat racing community has been kind of singled out on this. With the testimony we heard on Monday that nobody really knows who's doing this, or accidentally happens to a recreational boater. I mean, they can go just as fast as a racing boat at a racing event. So I can't support this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Representative Landry.
I agree with all of the above. I think the department has the ability to decline a permit for a race, don't they, Commissioner? As Tim said, Representative Terrio said, why make a big something out of nothing?
Okay. Thank you. Representative Ordway.
Yes, I'm going to have to agree with everybody. This was originally my bill, and I am more than pleased with what the department has come up with on this. So I'd say let's just go with what they have.
Okay. Senator Black.
I agree too. I think that the race and boat community has been singled out. I think there's, can be as much damage done with recreational boating and reckless, motorcraft operation as it would be with an organized race. So I agree with the rest of them.
Thank you. Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm confused. The department came up with rules, so they stay in place regardless of what we do with this bill. Can somebody answer that for me?
Yeah, well, I'll let the commissioner answer that. I mean, they were the ones that have brought the rules forward, and I think they're planning to put those in place regardless of what we do. Is that correct, Commissioner?
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And thanks for your question, Representative Hepler. Yes, the department is at step 2 with our rule proposal. It will go to our advisory council at step 3 next month. And we would anticipate the council would support the proposal, and those rules would become permanent. And I guess, should you or the committee want to go beyond what the department did, then that would be your prerogative in statute, and then we would adjust accordingly. But I think it sounds like you're all supportive of the rule proposal we have, and then our intention will be to continue to move forward with that.
Commissioner, are those routine technical rules, or are they?
Yep, they are routine technical.
Okay. Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. We can continue the discussion on this, but we do have to take a position on LD 394, and I would move ought not to pass on LD 394.
Okay. Go ahead, Tim. Were you seconding that, or?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I just need to have a procedural question to Julia. Today, are we in a position to be able to do this? Do we have to have a work session on this? I mean, we did bill this as just a discussion today. And I mean, I'm okay with however this goes, but I kind of thought that perhaps this, once this carryover, that we'd actually have a work session. I mean, we could immediately go into a work session at another time and do this rather than today. I just don't want people out there, because I know, like, Representative Hepler had asked on some bills, and I basically said today was just a discussion that, at least from my end, I didn't think actions would be taken of up or down on any of these things per se today. So Julia, where are we procedurally to do this?
So my understanding is that because this is a carryover, so there has already been a public hearing, and we did say that today was a work session. We designated it as a work session,
Okay.
that the committee can vote on that. However, I have just checked with the office to make sure that my understanding is correct, as this is the first time that I've dealt with this issue.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Representative Martin.
I would not have a problem withdrawing my motion, but another option would be to move ourselves into work session and then
Yes.
make a motion.
We could. My only, and I realize no one can participate but us in a work session, so it's a rather moot point for people. But people may have wanted to listen, but I'm okay if we wanted to move into a work session on this. Or, as Julia said, is this an actual work session anyway, Julia? Was this advertised as work sessions? I mean, it says a discussion on possible actions on reports. So to me, that didn't say we were going to be in work session today.
We did change the status specifically to a work session and had that updated so that it was reflected as a work session today.
So it was advertised that way.
It was advertised as a work
Okay.
session today.
Then we're fine. So we have a motion on the floor of ought not to pass on LD 394. Is that the status we're in? All right. Any further discussion on it? Seeing none. Linda, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, I will. Starting with Representative Lightford. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not here. Representative Mason,
Ought not to pass.
Representative Hepler.
Oh, wait, yes.
I'm sorry, are you saying yes to ought not to pass?
That's the motion on the floor,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Senator Black,
Yes.
Senator Dill,
Yes.
Representative Landry,
Yes.
Representative Terrio,
Yes,
Representative Martin,
Yes,
Representative Ordway,
Yes,
Representative Nadeau.
Yes,
So that's 9 in favor of the motion ought not to pass.
All right, 9 in favor and
3
4
absent. 1, 2.
must be 4
Oh, so
absent.
4 absent. Yes, I missed one.
And 4 absent on this. It's ought not to pass. And the only question I would have on this basically is that hopefully the rules are adopted and by the advisory committee. If not, then I guess we'd be back here again next year dealing with this since we just killed it. So anyway. All right, moving on to boating safety, LD 1663, which is carried over. So therefore, I guess on this one, we are in the same position, Julia, of a work session. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So boating safety, LD 1663, would you kind of walk us through what was given to us for information?
So boating safety also doesn't have a final report at this point, but there was a status update provided, and I believe the department is ready to go forward with draft language and a substantive bill that could be reported out by the committee. And of course, because it is a carryover, the committee is able to do so.
Okay, so as in the last one, we would authorize you to work with the department if that is okay with the department. I see Commissioner Camuso, I can spit it out here today, is nodding her head in agreement. And Julie, is that okay with you?
Yes, as long as we put together substantive language that's more than just a concept draft, then we can report
Right.
that.
Yep. And that's what I would think is happening. Committee? Any other thoughts, comments on this? Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, given the feedback I got from people in the coastal communities, I think, and I think Deirdre Gilbert from DMR has been in touch with IFW about some suggested changes. I think that is a good move.
Okay. Yeah, that way this will give us a chance to look at what's proposed and we can have a public hearing on it and then a work session. Okay. Next is mooring privileges, LD 626, also a carried over bill. Julia, you want to bring us up to speed on that?
626, I might need to ask Commissioner Camuso, but from my understanding from Commissioner Peabody's report, they need to be looking further into it before they can provide a recommendation to the committee.
Okay. I was under also possibly the impression that the IFW was suggesting that we kick this over to the ACF committee. And the commissioner is giving me a big thumbs up. So I think what an action that they would like to see on this one is that we ask it to be referred to the ACF committee. Is that correct, Commissioner? Do you want to speak to that, or does Deputy Commissioner Peabody, one of you?
Yes, thanks, Senator General. Deputy Commissioner is right here.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Tim Peabody, Deputy Commissioner, down here where my head is. That's
no comment
correct
there.
on your assessment. The body of the law would is probably best suited for Part 2 of Title 12, which is under the Bureau of Parks and Lands. However, as that's developed, there may be some adjustments that's necessary for Title 12, Part 13, which is our body of law. So I don't know if that makes a complexity in this conversation or not, but we're uncertain what that might be until the actual law would be proposed.
Yeah, I think as one of the discussions, or part of the discussion was on Monday, that it might have to be a joint committee hearing, which no one really truly enjoys, just because there's a lot of people to deal with. But anyway, we'll go see whatever we have for comments. Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Deputy Commissioner Tim, as you well know, this has been a long-standing issue, and IFW has, for many years, has been trying to resolve that, not too successfully. So I'm not sure if there's anything that we can do, but is it your thoughts to move this forward to another committee, Tim?
Yeah, I guess it's a timing of it, Representative Martin. Nobody really has the answer to it as far as if we want to regulate these floating camps or floating structures, what the law would actually look like. And when we do the full report back, you'll really get the picture of that. So it would have to come back probably to the 131st legislature to really do it justice if it needs to be regulated.
Thank you.
Representative Terrio.
Then I say we move the bill down to the ACF and let them deal with it.
You're very kind, sir. Representative Landry.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think we all should join in the pain.
Right. Well, I guess the question, I'm sorry, are you finished, Representative Landry?
Yes.
I guess the question comes, as Representative Martin pointed out, this has been a long, ongoing discussion, and just by us moving it over to ACF, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get any resolution. I think, as was pointed out by Deputy Commissioner Peabody, but I also thought I heard him say that there is a report coming out. So I guess my initial thoughts would be, let's not do anything with this at the moment until the report, and let me just ask, when will that report be out?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we could have that within 2 weeks also.
Okay, so if that's going to be out within 2 weeks, I just say that we just do nothing with this. After we see the report, we will come back to the status of a work session and see what we want to do with this. And it may be that, as pointed out, if it's got to go to the 131st for a lot longer discussion and it needs to go to ACF, we may have to figure out what to do with it at that time, rather it's send it down to ACF and ACF does something with it, or if this committee just kills it for now. And with the report, I don't know that we can attach anything to the department, at least to say, bring it back next time, our report back. But we can figure that out after we see what the report is. Thoughts on that, which will be in 2 weeks?
Yep.
All right, we'll wait a couple of weeks till we see what the report is and then try to figure out a plan to move forward with it. It is something that I know people are concerned about, so. All right. Next is another carried over bill, LD 116, and that's antlerless deer. Julia, want to bring us up to speed on that? There was, I think, several recommendations here, lots of recommendations.
Yes, antlerless deer, the department provided 5 areas of recommendations. And those are most likely going to be a combination of both rules and statutory changes that will take, should the committee choose to take up the recommendations. It's going to take quite a bit of work. And again, I would ask for permission to work with the department on that language. And there is the carryover, and so no need to schedule a public hearing, and the committee is able to write its bill with that.
And so this would be another one like the last two, where we'd ask you to work with the department to put it together so that we can move forward with it.
Yes, but it certainly merits a discussion of either today or another time of I'd love some direction on what you'd like in that language.
Okay. Committee, what are your thoughts on this one? Part of this was, if I remember correctly, was kind of an involved revamping of doe permits and or any deer permits, I should say. So I don't know how easily we can give you direction today, Julia, other than to say, go ahead and work with the suggestions that came from the department. Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Question to the commissioner. I don't totally recall, I don't recall in total your presentation on this, but is there anything in here that you can do through rulemaking, or are your thoughts that legislation is needed?
Thank you, Representative Martin. Yeah, there are several areas where we would need statutory changes. Those would include the elimination of swaps and transfers, the ability to charge for the second animal. There was also the ability to charge for the over-the-counter permits, as well as in some WMDs, and to allow us through rule to open up some WMDs to any deer permits if at some point in time we're not able to achieve our management goals by making the proposed changes we have here. I think those were the majority of the statutory changes. There'll be a number of routine technical changes that will adjust either in rule or policy, but I think those would all require a change of statute.
So you would be prepared to work with the committee and or Julia to work on legislation?
We would for sure. If the committee is supportive of those proposed statutory changes, we will happily work with Julia.
And Julia, I think those are the ones that were presented to us, and I didn't see anybody in disagreement with, you know, why don't you go ahead and do that? Whoops, Representative Landry.
Oh, I was just going to agree with you. Sounds like a good plan. There's a lot to it. And
Yeah.
it really we have to come up with something.
Right, and once we have what the department wants statutorily, we can have it in the bill, then that's when we can discuss it and decide what needs to be done with it. Okay? All right, hunting dogs and civil trespass. Julia.
Yes, hunting dogs and civil trespass. This is also going to take some very similar to antlerless deer. The committee has authority to report out a bill, and it's going to be a combination of rulemaking and statutory changes.
Okay. Questions that folks have? Commissioner, can you, I don't remember who presented it, but again, this was a, you know, I remember it was a task force that had discussed this. And even though I don't think it was in total agreement, there was some compromises made. And the compromises that were made, are those have to go into statute, I assume, rather than, again, through rulemaking. Is that correct?
Yeah, they would for sure. Some of them will have to be in statute.
Yeah, so then we're probably in the same statute that we've been in with many of these, in that you've got some statutory suggestions that need to be done that you can work with Julia on and bring that back to us. Is that correct? All right, Julia, is that okay? I think the only thing is we're going to have to try to put a time frame on all these, because we don't have a lot of time this spring. So it's not like we can wait a month or more to get these done. Senator Black.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the only comment I would make is that, you know, I think we need to move ahead with this. But last time we thought that we had the stakeholders group, we were all set, you know, and the hounders came in and they weren't completely on board. So when we get, you know, when we draft this bill, I hope that it's, you know, that the stakeholders group and the department are all on board together. So when we move ahead, we'll, you know, as much as we can. I think we were blindsided a little bit last time.
I think it's probably going to be like any of our bills. You know, we'll just put it forward and have a public hearing and, you know, see what happens. Commissioner, did you want to make a comment on that?
Thanks, Senator Dill, and thank you, Senator Black. You know, we certainly did include the, you know, there were plenty of guides and hounds people on the stakeholder group, and I think as Colonel Scott articulated, you know, nobody's thrilled. Nobody's totally happy on kind of either end, which maybe means we're at a happy medium. But I think, you know, my understanding is the stakeholder group, while everybody wasn't fully supportive of all the recommendations, that overall there was consensus on what the department was bringing forward.
Okay. Representative Terrio.
Yeah, I just want to echo that, because I was on that stakeholders group, and that's exactly right. There were people that wanted extremes on both ends of that. We came to the middle and no one's happy. So I think that's a perfect bill. When no one's all, yeah, because you can have so many extremes on this. It's crazy. And everybody had to compromise and everybody realized there was a problem. And it came to a pretty good middle, and everybody shook their head and said, yeah, I think this is the best path. So trust me, there was a lot of work and a lot of conversation. They really did do the work, and the hounds people were very heavily represented, more than any other group. So that's where I felt really good, is they were the ones coming up with all of the recommendations were the hounds people. So it was like, wow, that kind of blew me out of the water. But I'm telling you, there was a lot of long discussions on this, and I think we did a really good job.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Senator Dill. I just wanted to share that we do have a draft proposal of wording for legislation, so we could start working with Julia very quickly on this, and I think have something ready for the committee in very short order.
Right, because on all of these, as I say, it would really be nice if we could get as many of these done as by the 26th. I realize that's really short. The reason why I say that, we are back in session, so if we got them out by then, we can vote on it, even though it's not crucial that we vote on them ourselves, because, I mean, they're being referred by the secretary and the clerk anyway, so.
I think we'd be ready for a public hearing next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh,
All right.
well, Monday's a holiday, but Wednesday.
So add that to the list of Julia working with the department. We probably should have just started out, so Julia, work on the department with all these and come back to us, so. All right, the next one is electronic tagging. Now, this is both big game and turkeys, and I think our working with them and presentation was kind of combining the two, but we'll probably be in the same boat here that we'll have to certainly report out some legislation. Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to commend the department for their outstanding presentation on this group. As we knew, when I introduced the legislation, I knew it was going to be problematic, but the department did an outstanding job. Not knowing what could happen potentially with the new administration, new players in the department, I think the time is right for us to move forward with legislation on this. So I would hope that the committee would concur and authorize Julia to work with the department and come up with language that we can digest.
Okay. Other comments, thoughts anyone has? We're kicking all these slightly to Julia and IFW, but we're going to get them all back here within the next month or so. Yes, Representative Terrio.
Yeah, I hate to put more work on Julia, but I agree. I'd like to see the language and see what they can come up with for legislation on this.
Okay. Representative Landry.
Are we going to combine these two bills?
I would think that that would be an easy way to do it, because they could, even if we separate it out within the bill, there could be different regulations, or part of it could go and part of it not go. I think it could be all in one bill. Julia, is that any problem that you would see combining the two?
No, that's correct. You can do so.
Right.
Do we have to kill one of them and just leave it to the other?
What was that questions?
Would we have to get rid of one of the bills?
He was asking that if we're going to combine these, there's actually two bills out there. There was a turkey tagging one, and then there's a big game tagging one. So
Right.
do we have to get rid of one? But what we're asking is certainly that we're combining the two at the moment, but do we have to kill one of them and just leave one to work with?
At this point in time, you can use either as a vehicle, so there's no need to vote immediately to kill the other.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Representative Mason.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Why would we have to kill one of them?
Well, we could keep them separate if you wanted to. You could still have the turkey one over here and everything else over here. We could go with two and then just work on the language.
Yeah, I'm the sponsor of the turkey tagging, and I really don't want to see that go away if it should.
Well, yeah, it's not going away only from the standpoint of it's rolled into an electronic tagging bill.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
There really isn't any need to kill either of them, because if you take a look at the one that I proposed, it allows the committee to come up with a committee bill. So your bill, a representative, and my bill would be combined as a committee bill. So there's no need to kill anything.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Representative Ordway.
Yeah, I think I would like to see both, not kill one. I'd like to see them both. Just to be honest, I'm for one of them and I'm against one of them, so
Okay,
I'd like to see the two.
and that may be the case in some, so, all right. We'll proceed with 2 then, as it is. So I guess then probably what we're saying here is, Julie, when you work with the department, do the turkey electronic tagging as a bill to come back to us, and the big game tagging electronically as the other bill, rather than combining them into one, even though it was presented as one. Representative Mason, did you have another question? You just have your hand up by mistake still.
No, by mistake,
No problem.
still in the learning loop.
Yeah, aren't we all? Okay, so the only other thing is, on here, I don't see crossbows. What did we end up doing with the crossbows? Julia?
You're right. Crossbows was not on there, but the recommendation for crossbows, because so the action that the vehicle could be used for now would be to potentially, which was the recommendation of the department, is to repeal the sunset that ends in 2023. And then the department would like to present potential changes for what could happen, which involves about 25 statutes in 2023. So you could also create you have a couple different ways of dealing with that, but one would be to have a letter or resolve directing the department to examine those changes, or to examine what those changes would be.
And are those changes large enough that they would come back to us in statute? Are they substantive or routine technical? And that may be a question back to the commissioner, because it seemed like there were some pretty major changes.
No, thank you, Representative Senator Dill. Our proposal was to, as Julie indicated, to continue the law as it is, and then allow us to come back with a full review of the crossbow laws, where we align crossbow with archery for the next legislative session, but to extend the sunset basically for right now. Keep things as they are right now, and give us time to.
So simply for us,
repeal the sunset, but extend the, keep the law as it is now without the sunset, and then allow us to come back with a full review of all the crossbow archery implications in the next session. It will take a long time to get through all those places that the two touch each other.
So we can either repeal it or just extend it for another 3 years or something. That way that gives you time, whichever's easier. I mean, I don't care, but if we repeal the sunset, that means it goes on forever. What's that, Commissioner?
I think it would be simpler to just repeal it, but that's entirely your process.
That's something we can have for discussion. That's fine. Representative Terrio.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say before she said that, was we just need to repeal the sunset so that they can have time to work on all the other changes. I mean, that's all we need to do today is repeal the sunset.
Not necessarily, because it's not on our schedule, so we may have to, do we have to schedule a work session to do that, Julia? I mean, it's not, we don't have a work session scheduled, it's not here or anything.
Oh, in order to, I see what you're saying, because it wasn't explicitly on the agenda for today. I'd be happy to put together, that should be pretty simple to put together, just do a strike and replace or whatever's decided, if it's for the sunset, and we can look at it
The next time or something. Yeah. I would feel more comfortable doing it that way than us jumping into it today where it's not advertised in any fashion. So. Okay. It does have Sunday hunting on here, but there's nothing yet to do about Sunday hunting. I don't believe we don't have the presentation yet. So I would just say that we table Sunday hunting until a later date when when we have more information. And since there was nothing to report on that, we'll just leave it. I don't know that we actually have to table it or anything. Representative Martin?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just, I wonder if someone could refresh my memory as to exactly what the resolve said. What did it direct us to do
On what?
on Sunday hunting?
Oh, yeah, we had told the department to go ahead and, they gave us the presentation the other day, but they were to do a stakeholders group, a survey, et cetera, and come back with the information. And part of the situation is the survey is still out, so they don't have that information back. And they said it would probably be the first early in February before they'd have that information available. So that's why there's really nothing we can do with it today until we have that information. And
Yeah,
then
no, I understand that, but I guess my question was, the resolve is now law, to Chapter 107. Does Chapter 107 direct the department or the committee to come up with a bill? I just don't have the answer, and I don't need the answer today, but that's just.
Julia, can you find that out for us if you don't know? I thought it was still up in the air, that it was just, the resolve was, I thought, to direct the department to bring back the information for us to report out a bill on the Sunday hunting, because we had either 2 or 3 Sunday hunting bills last time, and we kind of rolled them all into one and asked them to look at all aspects of Sunday hunting.
So the Resolve 107 directed the department to establish the stakeholder group to examine the issues and also the survey that was spoken of. And then the Resolve also gave the committee authority to report out a bill related to the subject matter on that report. So that was what the resolve was for Sunday hunting.
So there's really nothing to do on this one today. We can reschedule this for another time once we have the information back from the department sometime in February. Anything else for us today, Julia?
I think that you covered it all, Senator Dill.
Okay. Did you need to meet with the chairs and leads after this? Did you?
Yes, we have a set up a time at 1, but I'm happy we can move it back and just jump on right now if you'd prefer.
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and do it right after this instead of waiting? Is that okay with everybody, chairs and leads? Okay, do you want us just to stay on here, or do you want to send us a new link, Julia?
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to send you a new link, or we can stay on here.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I'd be happy to stay on. I would love just 5 minutes to go over everything.
Okay.
So that I can sort of get it straight in my head before sitting down to discuss it, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and stay on, and as everybody leaves, and can I have a motion to adjourn? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?